Morphing is one of the many techniques used in logo animation, and it means the transformation from an object to another. For example, from a letter to an icon or from a shape to another shape. And there are three types of morphing techniques that we should focus on. First one is replacement, and that's when you just replace a frame by frame, and it happens in the middle of the speed of an animation. Second type of morphing in animation is the path and the size, which means changing the size and the path of an object to another object. For example, from a rectangle to a triangle. Then we have the splitting techniques. That means you have an object, it does split into tiny pieces, and then it regroups into something else. And finally, we have overlapping. That means when an object is gone, another one appears. Hello everyone, my name is Adam. I'm a professional animator and designer with 7 years experience. I have worked with many brands like Animaker and Wondershare, which I still do work with up till now. And in this class, I will show you how to make this beautiful, amazing morphing animation using the replacement technique and overlapping method. So in this class, you will learn how to import and organize your vector files in Adobe After Effects, even vector files from Illustrator. We'll work on the animation using the keyframes and the speed graph. And also we will be using Duik Basel, or as it is called now, Duik Angela, with the new updates. And that will help us just take the animation to the next level. Also, I will be sharing with you how to think creatively when facing an issue during animation, because as much as I hate to admit it, sometimes it's not as simple as it looks like. Now, this class, of course, is for beginners in logo animation. This is not an advanced class in logo animation, but a basic knowledge of Adobe After Effects is required. So for the tool, of course, you will be needing, as I said, Duik Basel and After Effects. And by the end of this class, you will have learned all the necessary basic morphing techniques that you can apply pretty much to any logo animation or illustration or shapes. Now, with that being said, see you in the next lecture. Alright, so in this first lecture, let's go ahead now and do our warm-up exercise. We'll start by a simple one-frame morphing animation, and then we'll go back from there. Alright, so the first thing we have to do here is to animate the position. Alright, so we'll animate the camera from left to right. Let's click on position, add a keyframe here, and then we're going to move around 10 frames, and then click here, hold shift, and move the camera on top of the smartphone like this. Alright, so now we have our two keyframes. I'm just gonna select them both and move them a little bit to the right like this, around here. Next step would be to add another keyframe here. Alright, this is for anticipation. And another one here for the follow-through animation principle. Because remember how we said, for a good morphing, we need to apply basic animation principles plus a distracting element. Okay, so now for this keyframe right here, this one, I'm just going to move it a little bit to the left. Okay, so I'm holding shift and I click 2 times on the left arrow. And same thing for this. I'm going to hold shift and click the right arrow 2 times. Now let's select everything. F9 for the ease-ins. Now we can hide the smartphone layer and just go to the speed graph and adjust this. Now what we want to do is that we want to accentuate the speed here in the middle, because this is where the transition or the morphing will happen. Okay, so something just like this. And then for the last keyframe, I'm gonna do the same thing. So just move this handle like this. And this should be good. Okay, now let's click on play. Okay, looks good. Maybe just a little bit more. Adjust this one like this. Or maybe just put this one here a little bit far away because I want it to follow through and come back to its place a bit slowly. Okay, this is better. Let's move it a little bit more, like around here. Now let's do the same thing for the rotation. So R for rotation, then add a keyframe. Click on U so I can have access to all the keyframes. Then add another keyframe here, another one here, and another one here. Okay, so for this one, the second one, let's put -6, something like this. And then for this one, let's put just the number 6. So same thing, F9. Go back to the speed graph and then pretty much do the same thing as we did with the position keyframes. Yeah, I'm guessing this one was like this. All right, so let's click on play. Okay, looks good. Now this step is important. Let's take the playhead and put it right here on the last keyframes. Bring back the smartphone layer. And now what we want to do is just pair this smartphone layer to the camera layer. All right, so click on this one, the pick whip, and parent it to the layer, okay? Do not parent it to any of these parameters, just parent it to the layer. Now if we click on play, all right, you can see that they're moving together now. So for the morphing, it's gonna happen right here in the middle. Let's bring the speed graph. Zoom in a bit. Okay, so around here, I'm gonna go ahead and trim this layer here and trim this one here. Just like this. Okay, let's click on play again. Now for the distracting element, we can of course be creative and do a lot of stuff, but just to make it easier for this first lecture, I'm gonna apply the motion blur. Okay, so motion blur here, and motion blur here. Click on play now. Now we have it. All right, so of course we can make it more interesting if we add some effects. For example, I can go ahead to the layer, new, add a solid color. Okay, put it here in the bottom. Lock this layer, go to effects, I'm gonna type noise, and we can add noise vignette. But first I forgot to add the adjustment layer. There we go, apply it to the adjustment layer. All right, so now for the center, it's gonna be here. Let's click on play. All right, and we can leave it like this. All right, so in this lecture, we covered the basic one-frame morphing animation, which is basically cutting 2 layers in the middle of the speed graph. Up next, we'll be doing our basic animation, and we'll start by animating our letter L. All right, so in this lecture, we're going to be animating our first letter and our first icon. All right, so we'll be animating the image and the letter L, and we're going to go ahead and morph them together. All right, so first thing first, when you open the file, you're going to find something like this. All right, now what we need to do is just hide everything else, and we're just going to keep the letter and the first icon will be animating. This way we don't get lost. And now we're just gonna leave the picture and letter L. Everything else, we'll go ahead and just lock it just in case we touch something by mistake. All right, so now I'm gonna take the icon, put it here. And let's start by animating the position first of the icon. So click on the icon with the icon selected. I'm gonna go ahead and press P for position, add a keyframe, and then put this keyframe around here, 12 or 16 frames, and then grab the icon and just put it here. Next, we'll go ahead and select the pen tool, add another keyframe here, and then we're just gonna go ahead and adjust it using the selection tool. And now let's go ahead and just adjust these handles like this so we have a beautiful curved position animation. Alright, click on play to see how it looks. Alright, not bad. We can always adjust the speed and everything. Next thing, I'm going to go ahead and select all these keyframes. Click F9 for the ease. And now let's go ahead and adjust the speed graph. Alright, now for the speed graph, first thing first, as you may know from my previous logo animation classes, right here, if we move this, we have two keyframes. So to avoid that, what we want to do is select both, double click, and then check discontinuous. Click OK. And now let's just adjust the speed graph like this. Alright, so we want it to start fast, then slow down a little bit up here, and then faster again when it's coming down. Now if we play, alright, you can see that the up position, the icon stops here for a second. So to avoid that, what we can do is just click here and put this then a little bit up so it won't hold here for too long. Alright, this is better. Next thing we want to do, of course, is add a rotation just to make it a little bit more interesting. So to do that, click on R, add a keyframe, click on U, so you have all the keyframes that you added so far. Then put this one here, the initial position, put it at the end. And here we're gonna add number 1. Right, enter 1 value. Now if I click on play, alright, you can see the animation. Now I want it to be faster a little bit, so what I can do is select everything, hold Alt or Option, and then just click here and drag to the left. Alright, so now we have the animation around 14 frames. If I click on play. Okay, let's go ahead and adjust the speed graph again. So F9 for the ease-ins. Let's play again. Alright, this is way better. Let me select those. Again, all of them. Alt or Option. Play again. Alright, not bad. So around here, what I can do is just adjust the rotation because I want something like this. All right, so we adjust it from here, not from here. All right, so let's click on play. All right, something like this is good. Now, same thing with the position. Select all the keyframes, go to speed graph, and then right here again, select this one, double click, continuous, okay, and then adjust it same way that we adjusted the position earlier. Okay, now we're done with the icon. So the next thing here would be to adjust now the letter L to make the morphing. So first thing first, I'm going to trim this layer like this. And I can do the same here. So hold Alt and right brackets to cut the layer. And just adjust it like this. Now here what we can do, of course, is adjust the scale. So first thing first, click on S, add a keyframe. Then I'm going to zoom in like this. Then move this keyframe 1 frame to the right like this. And then go ahead and adjust the anchor points into the middle like this. Unlink the scale. And now we can do something like this. Okay, we're gonna extend the letter a little bit. So remember, if you adjust the height, you have to adjust the width as well. All right, so I'm guessing something like this is good. So now we have to adjust the bouncing effects, and to do that, we can do it with the extension that we just downloaded. So go to Windows and then look for Duik Basel, or as it is called now, Duik Angela. Okay, once it's open, come over here. Okay, Automation and Expressions. Click, select both keyframes, go to K Linear, click on these dots, and then you want to add the bounce follow through only. Okay, now select both, go to Effects Controls, you're going to go to Follow Through, uncheck bounce, and then just increase the amplification a little bit. Okay, now if I click on play, you can see what we have here. All right, not bad, not bad. So of course you can adjust everything from here. The amplification, duration maybe if you want. Next thing you have to do here to make this animation more believable is to create the follow through. Now we want to create the continuous movement of the rotation, and that will just help us take the animation, of course, to the next level to make it look like it's just one movement. And in order to make that, of course, we need an effect called CC Bend It. Go ahead and add this one to letter L. Adjust these two anchor points like this. So let me just move this thing here. There we go. And now we can adjust this down here. And this one, we're going to put it to the top right here. Okay. So now what we need to do, of course, again, is add keyframes. So come over here to the CC Bandit effect. Click here on the stopwatch near band. Click on U, so you have just the keyframes. Now this one, I'm going to adjust it like this. And this one here, I'm going to put it back to its original position, 0. Okay, and same thing, we want to go ahead and apply this effect, bounce follow through only. All right, and you can pretty much do the same settings as we did before. So follow through, uncheck bounce, you can increase the amplification, and there you have it. Now let's play the animation. So as you can see right here, when I go frame by frame, is just to spot the little mistakes, right? You know, as they say, the devil is in the details. So right here, for example, we can see this letter extend, but I can still see the icon here. All right, so now right here, you can see that this layer does overlap a little bit with letter L. So you can see when the morphing happens, the letter is stretching, all right? And it should be squashing, okay? Because we have to create this continuous movement. Now to fix that, all we can do is just take these two keyframes, the scale, and then drag them a little bit to the left, like this, and now it is squashed. So this should be it for this lecture. As you can see, we did a simple yet amazing letter or from icon to letter animation. Now up next, we're going to be animating the letter A. Now for the letter A, it's going to be pretty much the same thing as the first letter, but this time we're going to be just animating the jump. And then once the icon comes back, it's going to morph into the letter A. Now let's move to the next letter. So go ahead and just hide the L and the picture outline. And now let's bring back letter A and the video outline. All right, so same thing. I'm going to go ahead and take this icon and just adjust it on top of the letter like this. Let's go ahead now and animate the position of the icon. So P for position. And for now, let's just go ahead and hide A. Add a keyframe. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the anchor points down here. Hold Shift and drag this down. Now move the playhead around 6 frames. Then change the position to here. Alright, so make sure you hold Shift when you're dragging up. Just copy this one here and paste it here. Alright, so we're creating a jumping movement. Click on play. Alright, select everything, F9, speed graph, and we're gonna do the same thing as before. Double click here, continuous. And then I want this to start fast and end up slow like this. Click on play. Not bad. I'm just gonna adjust this one a little bit up. Alright, looks good. So select all these keyframes, hold Alt. So I'm just gonna put them a little bit closer. Alright, so now let's go ahead and adjust the stretching and squeezing effect. For that, we're gonna be needing the scale parameter. So click here, S for scale, add a keyframe. Now use, so I just have the keyframes that I added so far. I'm gonna move this like 1 frame. Then stretch it. Again, unlink the scale. And again, if you stretch the height, you stretch the width as well. Something like this. Then here it should go back to its position. Copy this and paste it here. And again, when it coming down, okay, when it starts moving, we're gonna stretch it again, like here. So Control Command C, Control Command V. Move this here. All right, select all these keyframes. Again, F9, go to speed graph. I'm gonna do something similar to earlier. All right, so I want it to start slow a little bit, then jump fast, then stop here, and then comes down fast. All right, that's what I'm doing here. So again, when you see a high curve like this, that means this is top speed animation. And a down curve like this means it's gonna start slow. Okay, doesn't look that good. Let's adjust this a little bit more. All right, this looks a little bit too fast for me, so I'll select everything and just put these keyframes a little bit far away from each other. All right, and for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and create a little bit of anticipation. So I'll just adjust the scale like this. Now, as you can see, I'm just adjusting the keyframes here so I can get the best animation I want. So probably this one, I'll put it here. Click on those again. Increase the distance a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna head back and just adjust the speed graph a little bit more. So I guess we did not adjust the speed graph accordingly in the beginning. So what I'm gonna do here is make the animation speed at the beginning, then slows down in the middle, and then speeds again in the end. You can tell by the curves in the end and the curves at the beginning. All right, just make sure that you keep the green and the red one on top of each other when you're adjusting the speed graph. Okay, let's click on play now. Adjusting the speed graph a little bit more. So what I'm trying to do here is just to keep a normal ease-in with a sharp jump in the middle. So I'm trying to keep the red line and the green line one on top of another. But for some reason it's giving me a hard time, I don't know why. And this happens a lot when you work on a speed graph, so just take your time and don't stress out. Alright, so let's just replay the animation a couple times to see how it feels. And now for the next part, we're gonna go now to letter A. Make it visible. Trim this one again. There we go. And trim the layer for letter A as well. Now what we need to do with letter A is just the scale. So go ahead and add a keyframe here. Adjust the anchor points. And we just need to add our squash. We're gonna squeeze it like this. And same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and add the K-leaner. Select those first. K-leaner, and then bounce animation, effects controls, follow through, remove the bounce effects, click on play. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and trim the layer a little bit so it won't appear on the beginning of the animation, just like this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and increase the amplification a bit to see if it's gonna look better. I'm just gonna adjust the scale a little bit more. Bring this back to 100. And there you have it. Now let's go ahead and play what we have so far. And that's pretty much all for this lecture. So up next, we'll be animating the letter B, all right? So in this lecture, we're going to be trying something different. We're going to do the overlapping technique. So instead of an icon, we're going to be creating ribbons, and we'll try to morph those ribbons with the letter B using fake 3D spin or fake 3D rotation. All right, so now for animating letter B. So for this animation, what we're going to do here is take the letter B and then we have to put it in its own composition so we can create the ribbons. So first thing first, I'm going to come over here and then create a new composition. Just keep pretty much the same thing, all the settings, and then just rename this composition B. All right, then I'm going to come back to comp 1, Control Command C, double click here, Control Command V, and then I'm just going to align this one, let's put it here for now. So align horizontal and vertical alignment. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the pen tool and then make sure you're not selecting anything so you don't create a mask. We want to create a new shape. So click here, hold Shift, and then click here. Now we have a stroke. All right, keep it around 10 points. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the stroke and just adjust it using the arrows on my keyboard. Just like this in the middle. Now I'll just come over here, click, and then select the eyedropper tool and make sure this is the same color as our letter. Okay. All right, so next then with the new stroke selected, I'm gonna go ahead to Effects and Presets, and then look for the effect called CC Cylinder. Right here, and as you can see, now we have our cylinder. Now next thing here is just go ahead and adjust the path of the cylinder. Click here and drag this up like this. Then I'm gonna come over here and add a new anchor point. Hold Alt or Option and click here. So we can adjust the handles. Something like this. Then click here and just drag this one a little bit down like this. And then pretty much this. And then like something like this. All right, and I think this is pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and animate our ribbon. First thing first is that I'm gonna come over here and then add a trim path. Now let's open the trim path, and then I'm gonna add a keyframe for the end and the start. Let's zoom in a bit to the timeline, click on U. Now let's move around 10 frames. Now this one here, the end, I'm gonna add another keyframe, then go back here and then put it to 0. And same thing for the start, so I'm gonna put it around 5 frames here. And then same thing, I'm gonna put the start value to 100. All right, so both the start and the end parameters are from 0 to 100. Now let's click on play. You can see that we have a beautiful animation. It just selects both now, and then ease-ins, F9 for ease-ins. All right. Now the next thing I'm gonna do here is adjust the radius. So right here under CC Cylinder Effects, click on here to add a keyframe. Click on U. Move the playhead a little bit, and then around here, I'm gonna reduce the radius of the cylinder a little bit like this. Okay, maybe more. Okay, so it just rotates around our letter. All right, the next thing I want to do here is just increase the stroke a little bit. So I'm going to put this up to 20. Let's take a look. And then, since I don't want to keep the same stroke width for our ribbon throughout the animation, I'm going to go ahead then and animate the stroke width as well. So we're going to go to Shape, then find Stroke, then Stroke Width. Add a keyframe, click on Use. So I just have the keyframes that I added. Now from here, I want to move the playhead to the middle, add another keyframe, and then around the end, add another keyframe as well. So right here, I'm gonna put it around 0. Then it's gonna go back to 20, and then throughout the end, it will go back to 0 again. Let's click on play. There we have it. Now let's click here, F9. Then here for the radius, F9 as well to add the ease-ins. One more time. All right, it looks good, but we can also add a little bit of rotation. So if I come over here to rotation, bring the playhead here to another time, and then let's probably increase the rotation a little bit like this. Add the keyframe here. Click on you again. So this is the keyframe for rotation. I'm gonna put it here. Then around here, I'm gonna bring it back to 0. Click on play. Right, so we have to fix it a little bit like this. Because we want the ribbon to start from down like this, then rotates up, right? This is why we should adjust the rotation accordingly, so we have it disappear around here. Okay, this is good. Then F9, click on U again. Now let's click on play. We'll put this one here. All right, so we have this effect. It may be a little bit too fast for me. So if it's too fast for you, select all the keyframes again, click Alt and then drag a little bit, like 1 frame or 2. All right, let's just increase this a little bit more around here. Let's see. This is a bit too slow. Let's bring it back around 18. All right, this looks good. Now one more thing, just for the color of our ribbon, since it's gradient, let's go ahead and fix that because we wanted to match the color of our letter. So around here, where you see lights, click, and then light intensity. I'm gonna put it down to 0. It's still not the same color, so let's go to shade in. We have 50 here, let's put it to 100. Right, so now with the same color. Now finally, what we can do here is just Control Command D to duplicate the ribbon. Then offset it a couple frames. I'm gonna put it around 4 frames. Then this one on the top, I'm gonna put it a little bit up. Hold Shift and click once on the top arrow. And this one at the bottom, I'm gonna put it a little bit down, like this. Now we have this animation. Now, one more thing now, let's go ahead and create a fake 3D rotation for our letter B. So to do that, of course, we have our letter here. First thing is to right click and then create shapes from text. Go ahead and delete the text, keep the shape. Go ahead and rename it B. And this is gonna be ribbon 1. And this will be ribbon 2. Now click here, contents, and then B. All right, so now you can see that we have 3 B's in here. All right, and each one is an individual shape. Now let's go to the first one. All right, zoom in a little bit to the timeline, click on path. It will select this path. Let's switch to the selection tool. Then go ahead and add a keyframe. Move this one a little bit around here. Then Control Command T. Then click here. Hold Control and then drag like this. Okay. And same thing we're gonna do for the rest of them. So open all of them, add keyframes here, click on U, then move. Again, with this one selected, Control Command T, hold click first, hold Control and then drag. All right, and then we're gonna do the same one for the last one. Control Command T, hold Control, first click and then hold Control, and then drag like this. Command or Control. Let's hide the ribbons for now. Okay, so we have this. Probably gonna adjust this a little bit more. Command T, Control. So this is around 3 frames. Again, move 1, 2, 3 frames again. Select those, Control Command C, Control Command V, and then move around 3 frames again. Select those, Control Command C, Control Command V. Then we'll have something like this. We'll just add one more here, and we're pretty much done. Select all those, then of course F9. Now let's bring back everything. And let's see our final animation. All right, so one more thing here is that we have to adjust the appearance of the letter B with the ribbons. So around here, I want it to appear. All right, so if I click on play, you can see now, it looks like the ribbons were morphing into the letter B. Select all the layers, pre-comp, make sure you have move all attributes into the new composition, okay. Let's go back to our project, comp 1. What did we, all right, we have to Control Command X, then Control Command V here. All right, next step will be to adjust this letter exactly on top of our letter here. You can use the keyboard arrows for more precision. Now let's take this letter B, change its color to something darker. Okay, now we can adjust this properly. And let's hide this one for now. Okay, now let's bring back everything else. So let's go ahead and offset our letter B because we want the animation to start around here. So this ribbon won't touch the other letters. And there you have it. So as you can see, we created our overlap morphing animation. So as you can see, it was a little bit difficult compared to the previous 2 letters, but it was worth it. So in this lecture, we're going to be animating the letter S. And for this last one, I want to try something different. Instead of the icon morphing into a letter, we're gonna do the animation, but then the icon will not morph to the letter. It will bounce back from the letter and jump through or jump off the screen. All right, so first thing first, what I'm gonna do here is just take this icon and put it a little bit right here on the top, like this. And then we're gonna do the same animation as we did with letter A, but this time we'll add a rotation to it to make it a little bit more interesting and not repetitive. So with the icon selected, let's just go ahead now and hide letter S. I'm going to click on R to bring the rotation parameter, then add a keyframe. I will go ahead and click Y to adjust the anchor points down here. All right, and now let's just go ahead and move the playhead a couple of frames and do a full rotation like this. Let's make sure it's around 10 frames. So we have frame here, and here. Select both, then F9. All right, so that's a bit faster. But I make it slower a little bit. Okay, next then, P for position, and then we will add a position here. Click on U, then move here, And then just adjust the position again all the way to the top like this. Same thing, F9. Now let's just go ahead and adjust the speed graph. So we want the animation to start faster and then slow down a little bit. All right. And now one more thing I want to do here is just adjust the position keyframe so it goes up around here. Something like this, all right. And then I want it to go back down around here. Just like this. Now let's bring back the letter S so we can adjust the position of the icon. Okay, so around here. Then let's go to letter S. Click S for scale. Add a keyframe, put it here. Then unlink those. Then always remember to adjust the anchor point to the middle, like this. All right, now let's just squeeze and squash this. Something like this. Let's adjust the position a little bit down. All right, for this one, I want to adjust it like this. In here, we want the animation to start fast, then slows down in the middle, then it will go fast. All right, double click on those, then check continuous, and then let's put that a little bit up so it won't hold for too long in the air. All right, so now let's go back to keyframes and let's play. So I'm just gonna adjust the width of the S a little bit more, like this. And now what I'm gonna do is just adjust the path of the icon. So once it bounces on top of the S, it will go down to the side and vanishes. All right, so I'm gonna push the last keyframe a little bit to the right. And then I'm gonna grab the pen tool and then just add an anchor point in the middle and adjust it with the selection tool so we have a beautiful curve. Then adjust the handles. Put this thing down a little bit. Now I'm just gonna play the animation to see how it feels. And then we're gonna go ahead and adjust the distance between the keyframes. Now I'm trying different things here to see which one feels better. Because we don't want the animation to be too fast and we don't want it to be too slow either. Now I'm going to select the last two position keyframes and then we go to the speed graph. Now again with the speed graph, if it's too much trouble for you, you don't have to really adjust it every time. We can just do fine with the F9. Alright, but the idea here is just understanding when the animation will be fast and then when the animation will be slow. Like right here, for example, we have this curve. That means it's gonna start slow. And once the curves go up, that's when the animation will speed up. So right here, what I'm trying to do is make the jump fast because of the impact. And then when the icon is dropping down, it has to go down fast as well. Now this is starting to look like a rectangle, which is bad. And I have to adjust it now by just trying to add some curves. Because I want it to look like mountains or hills, not just flat. So it starts fast, slows down here, then fast again, then slows down here, and then fast. Alright, so let's play again one more time. Alright, let's go back now to the keyframes. And I feel like, again, it's a bit slow, so I'm gonna put the keyframes a little bit closer together, see how it feels. Now, I know we have been moving these keyframes a lot, but it is what it is. It just has to feel right, you guys. So it's okay to try different distances between keyframes, and then play again, then adjust again. And that's how you make a good animation. Now for this one, position, I'm just gonna adjust a little bit down, or maybe not, just a little bit far away like this. Now let's add a little bit more rotation. So add a keyframe here and the rotation parameter, and then let's move here. And then just let's rotate a bit. Okay, let's click on play. All right, so let's adjust speed graph, something like this. So again, after the impact, it will jump and rotate fast. This is why I am adjusting the speed graph of the rotation this way to start fast. Now let's go back here, and what I'm just doing is finding the right time to rotate the icon. So after the impact, doesn't make sense here, so probably here. All right, so once it is down here, you move one frame, right? And that's when you add the keyframe for the rotation. I think it makes more sense like this. It comes down, then on its way up, it does rotate mid-air, and then a whoop. All right, and finally, let's go ahead and open our expression. And now let's add an expression or bouncing animation to our letter S to see how it's gonna look. So it's asking me for updates here, which is a bad time. So I'm just gonna put it for later. Now same thing, select the scale keyframe. And now let's go to automation and expressions, a linear. Let's go for bounce, follow through only. Then FX controls, and same thing that we did earlier. Uncheck the bounce. All right, so let's click on play now. All right, so when I click on play, you can see that the bouncing is going backwards. It's playing backwards. So in case to fix that, I just need to swap the position of the two keyframes. I don't know how this happened, but it did. Now it should be good if I click on play. So the next thing I'm noticing here is that there is like a gap between the icon and the letter S. So I'm just gonna adjust the keyframes like this to fix the gap between the letter and the icon. Next, I'll just go ahead and trim the letter S so the animation will start at the beginning of the first keyframe. Go ahead and trim the icon layer. Alright, so I want to trim it past the first keyframe because I want it to appear not full rotation, but only like when it's down. So alright, something like this. Alright, and finally, let's go ahead and try increasing amplification to see if it's gonna make the bouncing any better. If not, we can just put it back. And right here for this last position, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring it a bit down. Just like this. And right here, I still think that the icon is overlapping with the letter. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust the handles of the path. I think there is a problem here with the handles and not with the keyframes. Alright, so something like this should be good. Alright, so now I don't see any overlapping. Because we want to make it look like the S is really pushing the icon. Alright, so a little bit from here too. I think I'm just gonna bring back the amplification to 100 here since we fixed the path. Alright, so let's play back again to see how it feels. Let's just zoom in a little bit to see if there are any errors here, mistakes that we did not notice. We did not notice. And I think this is fine. It's not overlapping, it's not doing anything. All right, and this should be good. All right, so now let's bring back everything together and make sure here that we don't bring the B. So let's go ahead and delete the letter B, the one we first added, because we won't be needing it. All right, so let's see how it looks. All right, so far so good. Okay, hopefully nothing bad happens. All right, let's go. So I'm going frame by frame to spot if there are any mistakes. And I think here for letter S on the last animation, we'll bring it back a little bit closer. So the animation will start after letter B is finished. All right. Yes, we have an overlap. Okay, let's go back again. A little bit closer. All right, so let's see here. Oh, doesn't look good. That's even worse. All right, so in this kind of situations, you have to be creative. So I think we'll just adjust the position of the B. All right, so the first thing we can do here is add the position for B. And then around here, put it here. And then around here, when it's overlapping, we can adjust the position to the left, like this. And then bring it back to its original position. We can add, of course, a bouncing effect here too. And then remove the bounce from here. So let's play the animation one more time here since we added an expression. And now since we added an expression, you can see that it's overlapping again if we zoom in, because this is what happens. You adjust positions and keyframes, then you add animation, then you have to rewatch everything and be careful. So let's just adjust the keyframe like this. It's better, now it's not overlapping. And it should be good. So that's the thing about animation. Once you add expression to keyframes, you have to watch it back to make sure everything stayed the same. Now, if you watch again, everything looks good. All right, now finally, before we wrap up this lecture, we just need to add a solid background to the logo so we can import our logo later. And one more thing here, of course, I need to adjust the space between the letter L and the rest of the letters. So what we're gonna do is just select the layer. And then around here, I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit closer to the rest of the letter. So the spacing is consistent between all letters. All right, so guys, so congratulations, we made it. Now I want you to go ahead, upload this project here on Skillshare, or you can do it on your social media, tag me if you want. Also go ahead and follow me, maybe leave a review if you like the class so other people will find it. And also when I publish something else, you will get a notification if you follow me on Skillshare. So as you can see, we covered everything that you need to know to make basic morphing animation. And of course, you can apply this to any logo animation or illustration or anything, all right? So once you finish the class, go ahead and apply whatever you learned into your own designs and own illustrations. Now, with that being said, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.